is Rosengren, and I work as a researcher and physician at Lund University, Sweden. I'll start with the first question. What is health? It might seem as an obvious answer to such a question, but the fact is that if we go through the literature, there is great conflicts in the definition of health, and there is in fact no really officially endorsed definition of health. Here is a list of a few strands, and also to the left the shortcomings of each of those. And there have been many attempts by the FDA or the AMA, for example, to come up with such definitions, but the FDA has constantly had to make exceptions to their own definition in order to make it practically working. And there was a commission a few years ago trying to define whether obesity was a disease or not, but they had to give up because they couldn't come up with a definition of disease or health. And we could probably go around the room here, and it might be that some of you are sitting on a very good definition, but I think it's actually the case that most of those definitions are insufficient because they don't really take into account the experiential part of being healthy or being ill. And I think there's a very important thing here that we have had a lot about data tracking, quantified self and stuff today. I think that's great, but I think it's important that it doesn't become either or. It should be both data, both quantification and the experiential part of being healthy, because how you experience a healthy state is completely different between different persons, and that is what healthcare is missing today. And that's why you have this gray zone of people who feel ill, who feel unhealthy, but have perfect data, at least when analyzed by healthcare. And I think it's also important to sort of zoom out slightly and ask ourselves, when we do all this data analysis, all this quantification, what's the purpose of it? And the purpose might vary from person to person. And that's exactly what we are trying to do in a study going on at Lund University. So we are recruiting thousands of patients with type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes. And then we are telling them, we as researchers and physicians, we do not know what health is. Can you help us by taking part in a large-scale experiment to redefine what is health to you? So what we're doing practically is that we have set up a very ambitious web and mobile tool to enable them to ask questions to themselves. Because traditionally, in care, we have been delivering answers. This is what you should eat, this is how you should exercise, this is how healthy or how ill you are. But scientists have always asked questions. Socrates asked questions. So there's a fundamental difference in how you approach life, if you approach it with a question or an answer. And if you as a patient approach your potential lifestyle changes with a question, like for example, how can I improve my breakfast habits? How can I reduce my stress so that I get time to exercise? That's a completely different mindset. And we want to make an experiment to see if that can be a new way to promote health. So what we are doing is that we use all the different sensors, all the different measurements that patients might have, and then we ask them to look at that data with a question at the top of their mind. And that evokes a much more open attitude than traditionally done in healthcare. So we are now expanding this project into other disease areas and also hopefully internationally, because we think this might be a very interesting experiment to see if we collectively can redefine what is health to the single individual patient. So it's a way of democratizing the art of asking questions and democratizing health. Like,